the biggest step that we made that you really didn't hear about was the AP wire came in. It was an analog wire, and it would give us stories, and it would give us photographs on a machine that was much like a copy machine. And in the mid-'80s, AP switched that to a digital format. It came into a PC. And Jack and I and Dallas Rose went to Atlanta to buy a box about the half the size of this table that you could take a photograph and put it in there and resize it to the size that you needed to be. And it was enormously expensive and very limited in what it could do. And Jack and I and Dallas had knockdown, drag-out fight over that. And I said, I can do that electronically. We don't have to buy that big box, and we can put it out. We can actually put the picture out on an 8.5 by 11 dot matrix printer. Jack said, go ahead. So I got in touch with some guys down at Georgia Tech, and they wrote from scratch a raster image processor for the PC, which is nothing more than a fancy way of saying digitizing a photograph and getting it on paper. And I think that cost me $200. And we did it. And we were the first people in the country to do it. We did it before anybody else did. I ended up selling that to the Imperial Valley News in California, and I think Maui, I'm pretty sure Maui News in Maui, Hawaii bought it. And by that time, some of the big vendors were doing the same thing, so we got it squeezed out of the market. Once they found out that we'd done it, Triple I and some other people, I think, were into it, the big vendors. But that was a you know, a pat on the back kind of thing. We've done something that nobody else had done for a little newspaper in East Tennessee. Another thing we did is we came up in the early '80s with an email system that we used between the papers. Wasn't much, but it was email before the internet really was. We had long lines, dedicated long lines between here and Tullahoma and Knoxville. And another interesting thing that we did as far as newspapers concerned, we did one of the first subscriber, non-subscriber databases for circulation. Heretofore, for some reason or other, and it never made sense to me, was you had the papers had a subscriber base and they had a non-subscriber base, if they had a non-subscriber base. Jack said, we want both. We want to be able to contact and mail and sample, our non-subscribers. So we built it as a single base, and it made it easier to deal with people when they'd call up to start a subscription. We already had the address in the database. As far as log-on's concerned, one of the milestones that we hit, that we enjoyed, we did a lot of firsts. One, AT&T approached us in about 1983 to do a joint venture with them. They wanted to sell hardware to department stores. And there was a store up in Midwest, Dayton Hudson's, had written an in-house gift registry system for their stores. And AT&T told us how it worked, and we wrote the software for it. It was the first commercially available gift registry system in the world. And AT&T used it to lease or sell hardware to their clients, and they used our software. That was a step that we were proud of. We did one of the first, as far as I know of, online county government systems. We wrote for Hamlin County, and it was very interesting. Online interactive. Everything we did was interactive. where in that day and time, batch processing was the norm.
Right.
You would send your data in to someone, they'd key punch it into a computer, and then they'd hand you back reports. Well, we put a terminal with a printer in your office and allowed you to access the computer directly, and we wrote software for that.